With every breath, a promise to rise. Together we chase the limitless skies. Galvanize the world, feel the mood of my life. Every healthy choice, it feels so right. Data in our hands, we hold the key. A future built on trust and integrity. Galvanize the world, feel the light. With every healthy choice, it feels so right. Data in our hands, we hold the key. A future built on trust and integrity.
Well, hello, Galvanators. Byron Belka here, and I'm certain that you had an amazing week. We've had a great week here at Galvan, getting things going, and just the conversations that we've had the last week from people all around the globe that are looking, are curious at the things that are happening with Galvan, with the Well Collective, everything else that's going on. It is exciting as we're gearing up and putting these things together. So thank you for tuning in. As you always hear me say, this is something that we need to be doing as part of the system and getting our teams on this on a weekly basis, just to perfect time to be able to get tips, learn different things that are happening in the Galvan community and how you can best take advantage of them. And one of the things that I love most about what we're doing is everything that we're doing is going to not just make a difference in our lives, but it's going to make a difference in generations and those people that we have in our communities, those that we care about, because it's so much bigger than just one person. And that's what gets me fueled and fired up every day in the morning, is knowing that I'm getting up and we have a chance to change things. We have the ability to go and change things in our environments and not be distracted by all those other things that are going on. Because one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that, you know, there are organizations and things that can help us. But if we want change to happen in our lives, it's going to be up to us. If we want a different scenario, we're going to go out there and create it. And so with all of the amazing people that we're building and putting together in our community, we have that right in front of our hands, especially with what we're doing with health wellness, what we're doing with the blockchain, and what we're doing to be able to track these things so that we can take this data that is blessing us right now and is going to be able to bless other people in the future. So thank you for tuning in. It's always great to have you. If you have any questions, always make sure that you know that we can reach out to us with any questions that you may have. We want to help get those answered. And like I said, this is a community all working together to become better because of each one of us being here as we're doing our part. So let's hop into today's Galvanators Unite call. And it's always great to start with one of the visionaries that helped get this thing started, saw it for what it was and what it's going to be in the future. And, you know, we know that's Dr. Adam Sharp. And I always love hearing what he has to share every single week. But Dr. Sharp, thanks for being here. We're going to turn the time over to you.
Yes. Well, thank you, Byron. It is good to be here. I decided it is beautiful weather here in Orange County, and whether or not you're somewhere where it is not beautiful or whether it is, spring is coming. And so I'm excited to be here this morning with you as always. We're going to talk a little bit today about, again, today is a body day. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is a heart minute. If you don't already know what a heart minute is, you will by the end of this. And also to understand just a little bit more about why we've chosen 30 minutes a day and why 150 minutes a week. That's the low bar. That's the minimum of what we need to reach. But if you are truly doing that, there is no question. If you just need a little motivation to maybe wake up early or go on a walk at night or find a gym near your office or wherever you're working, it is worth it. It is absolutely the key to our health and wellness. One of the important keys, I should say. So let's jump into this. All right. Understanding what a heart minute is. First of all, it's important that you understand frankly, everyone around the world, to my knowledge, uses this calculation of your maximum heart rate, or MHR, you'll see it as. It takes the number of 220 and it subtracts your age. And that gives you your maximum heart rate. And so and I'm going to give you an example next, but 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the percentages. So number 2 here is talking about the exercise intensity levels. Now this is based on that percentage of your maximum heart rate, and so whether or not you're 50 to 60% or 70 to 85% or 85% and higher, those match up with moderate, rigorous, and easy exercise. So a G plus heart minute is any moment that you get your heart rate into your range of at least moderate exercise level. That is a heart minute. So throughout your day, if you're tracking it with whatever device you may wear, we've talked a little bit about devices in the past and how to connect them. But if you get your heart rate into your range of moderate and higher exercise range, that's a heart minute. And that's what we're talking about. So we reward on the G Plus app, we reward 30 heart minutes per day of exercise, and we reward 150 heart minutes per week. And I'll talk a little bit about why that is. But let me give you an example first of just so this hits home and you understand what we're talking about with regard to heart minutes. So this is an example of a 40-year-old female. So if a 40-year-old female or male for that matter, maximum heart rate is 220 minus 40. So that means at that age of 40 years old, you're starting with a heart rate of 180 minutes. So if you see in this little this little chart on the right, light activity would be between 50 and 60%. Moderate activity would be between 60 to 70%. And it shows you the calculations for somebody who's 40 years old there on the right. So heart rate of 90 to 108 or 108 to 126. And then vigorous activity would be anything from 126 beats a minute to 153 beats a minute. So in order to earn your G plus heart minutes, this Galvanator needs to get her heart rate above 108 for at least 30 minutes a day. And to do that at least 5 times a week so that she can get 150 minutes a week and get rewarded for that metric. Those are simple metrics. If you're a why person like I am and sometimes wonder why 30 minutes, why 150 minutes? Well, like I said before, this is the minimum, right? In research, they have to pick a number somewhere. It could have been 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Is 15 better than 0? Absolutely. For most of us, is 60 better than 30? Probably yes. And so let's move into the next reason of why. Why does this matter, and what do we know about it? So first of all, we've talked a little bit in the past about who's the source of information, who's the person who's writing the article, who's the company that's sponsoring the study. Well, I looked at, and you may be, I think this covers many, certainly not all of our Galvan people around the world. But if you look at the European Society of Cardiology or the World Health Organization or the National Health Services in the UK or the CDC or the Health and Human Services in the US, or if you look at the Department of Health and Aged Care in Australia, all of them recommend as a baseline for adults 30 to 150 minutes. Now, I want to caveat here. If you are less than 18, so if you're not an adult and you're a kid, it's at least 60 minutes. So the minimum bar for a kid a day is 60 minutes. Just in case your parents or grandparents have kids, you should know that your kids need a little bit more. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I'm talking to the adults here. So 30 to 150 minutes is the minimum recommended range that you want to get your heart rate into, at least that amount of time per day and per week. Now, on the right here, this just shows you why. And I've talked a lot about this. There's a lot of reasons why. And you could fill in the why if you love your spouse, if you love your family, if you love your job, if you love your church, or if you love your neighbors, whatever that is, they love you and want you to be healthy. So 30 minutes, and our why is we want to reduce the risk of all the chronic diseases, frankly. Cancer, heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, and the list goes on. I just listed these because they're the big ones. And 30 minutes a day, 150 minutes a week, it has shown to reduce the risk of chronic diseases, or if you have a chronic disease, it improves your quality of life and longevity. So that's number 2, increases your life expectancy. Not only does it allow you to live longer, but it actually improves the quality of your life. So this is both a quality and a quantity improvement if we will make the effort to do this 30 minutes a day, at least, and 150 minutes a week. And then as it says in here, and it's, mind, body, and soul are all linked, right? If one of them is hurting, then all of them are hurting. And so we know that one of the ways to avoid anxiety and depression and the other mental health challenges that we face is to exercise. Or if we have anxiety or depression, one of the best ways for us to manage and control that is to get our exercise. So hopefully this is clear. I'm going to go back just in case. A heart minute is, as you can see here, is getting your heart rate up in that moderate to vigorous activity level. That is what's recommended. And so know your age, do some simple math, ask your AI tool of choice, what's my target heart rate for moderate to vigorous exercise, and then go track it and earn your rewards. Lastly, I shared this maybe a couple months ago. I just want to point this out. This is new evidence. This came from the journal Circulation. A bunch of Harvard public health scientists and physicians put this together, and they wanted to look at, does a little bit more matter? And the answer is yes. So like I said, depending on your age, depending on your physical abilities, depending on what you're doing, no question, all those benefits come from 30 minutes a day, but you get more of those benefits and improvements if you get that up into closer to 300 minutes instead of the 150. So if you're doing more than that, keep it up. You're doing a good job. My workouts typically last from 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And I do that at least 5 days a week. That's my routine. So I hope this helps motivate you. If you're exercising more than 30 minutes a day, this is a way of helping you to, what you're doing matters. And so keep it up. So last, we're here to galvanize the world to heal humanity. And if you haven't already, go get your heart minutes today. So that's me for signing off. And I'm going to pass the ball over to our beloved Robert to tell you a little bit more about cool features in the G Plus app.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Buckle up. We're going to do a quick tour of a lot of features. So if you've got your app, open it up. The best way to learn is not only visually, but to do it yourself as well. And that will help you find all these features. What I'm going to do today is show you, per Dr. Sharp's overview, where we can find different ways to show and inspire and motivate us to track our heart minutes. So I'm just scrolling down a little bit, and you can see today I've got my 49 heart out of 30. So I'm doing good today. This week, to get the 150, it looks like I'm 4 minutes short. So you can see right there on your home screen, it gives you the initial pulse of where you're going. So then the next place I want to take you is to show you, that's today. How have I been doing for the history? What's my vitals look like? And so to get into vitals, you can go there a couple ways. I can click on this little dot at the bottom that takes me, I call it the hamburger menu, that takes me into vitals, or I can actually just click on the number. So if I click on 49, it's going to shoot me over into vitals. Vitals gives me a look of my trends of how I'm doing with heart minutes. So you can see for today, I see the 49. I can see I average 66. So I'm well above the place, and maybe I'll be healthier, a little better than I should. That's great. I can see my week trend. I kind of like this one to show how my consistency has been. Month to me is a little noisy, but a lot of people like the month to see it. The 6 month calms it down a little bit. The year shows me a little more of my consistency over time. So vitals is another way that you can continue to see how I'm doing consistently over time. Now there's a cool feature in vitals that if you don't have a sharp eye, you may not see it. If you notice the word heart minutes, to the right, there's the 3 dots, the ellipse. If you click on that, a thing that you can do with heart minutes, 2 things. You can create a goal. So the goal will do 2 things. Now I can track a goal, and I will get and see my progress on my goal to get my heart minutes. The other thing with goals is you can actually set a notification. I actually have created a notification so that by 6:30 at night, it prompts me to do my heart minutes, just to double check to make sure I've got it. And the one that's kind of really neat is the share feature. One of the ways to inspire someone to accomplish a task is to get a partner. So find a partner that is striving to do heart minutes as well. And each day you can go in and you can share your goals with them. So I typically would set my weekly one, and then I will share it with a buddy that's working to help me or keep me online to do my heart minutes. Let's see, I'm going to go back to the home page now if you're following along. And then the next section I wanted to show you are personal records. So if I click on the ellipse in the bottom, here at the top, I see personal records. When I go into personal records under body, that's our topic for the day, I can see heart minutes. This shows you my best days. So now you can challenge yourself to get a best day, a best week, a best month. And it also shows you your totals. So this is another way to motivate yourself, is to say, when can I set a new personal best? If I go back to the home page, click the wellness in the bottom. Another way to inspire you to do heart minutes, we talked about the goals. We have badges. If I press down on this first badge I've got here, I see it's the beat goes on. When I go into it, into the details, this is a heart minutes badge. And so you can see I'm at 18,336 heart minutes total so far, which is 91% towards my epic badge of 20,000. So I'm well on my way, and I'm striving to attain that epic badge. The other badge that would be relevant to heart minutes is the streak version of the beat goes on. So for instance, if I click into the streak version, it looks like I'm striving for my epic ×2. So my second opportunity to earn the epic badge, I have got, if I look at my progress bar, 70 days consecutive so far, 77%. And to get to my epic, I've got 90. So I've got 13 more days, and then I'll have achieved my epic badge for heart minutes as well. Another area, if it's more exciting for you to compete with other people, we have within our community section a couple different areas that you can leverage that inspiration from others. For instance, we have a community leaderboard. If I go into the leaderboard, it looks like I'm number 6. So on the leaderboard, I can see the podium. Blake Sr. is our king of the day, king of the week, actually, at 507 minutes. And then we've got Kathy and the Bishop. And then for me, I'm at 146. So I'm 6th place. It looks like I'm just ahead of this. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher every one of these names. To me, it says Medellin Man. He is awesome. So he's doing well. And then I'm just about 50 below the next place up. And so for this week, I can see where I rank. This month, I can take another. I'm at 9th, and I'm still behind, and I can see how many more heart minutes I need to go. All time, I can see where I fit as well. So if a little bit of an external challenge with other people helps, then we do have these leaderboards that are helpful for you. Another external motivation would be what we call challenges. You can create your own challenge. I know I've highlighted this before. We have 2 different challenges. You'll see here, I've got this little checkbox here to make it private. So I can do a private challenge, or I can do a public challenge. A public challenge is one that you'll create your parameters of, give it a name, description, how long you want to go, and then it will publish it to everyone in the Galvan community. A private challenge just gives you the code, and you can share that code with a group of people that you are working to do in a private manner. And the beauty of this is the challenge objective. You can, for your objective, measure total heart minutes, and we calculate every heart minutes for whatever the period of time you're doing your challenge, minimum of 2 weeks probably, and then we'll multiply that if you do a wellness check. So again, another motivation externally to help you with your heart minutes. I'm going to click on the X to get out of this, go back to the home page, and then Dr. Sharp mentioned the rewards section. The rewards is probably one of the best benefits you can get. So we actually will give you rewards based on achieving heart minutes. So you can see all-time heart minutes, but the reward section comes across weekly. So you can see I'm on target. So far, I've done 3 out of 7 or 900 points. And then you noticed on my homepage, I was 4 heart minutes away from my weekly total of 150. So once I hit those 4, then I'll get another bonus reward for those heart minutes. And that week by week, those heart minutes then turn into eyes that you can go out and spend. In fact, I'm feeling like I need to go out to the Well Collective and spend some of those eyes and get a protein drink or something to keep going on these things, as I've ran through this pretty quick. Anyway, that is a very quick tour of all the different ways that you can help yourself promote the 30 minutes a day of heart minutes to then inspire you to achieve all of those benefits of why that Dr. Sharp mentioned. With that, that's all I've got for this demo today. With that, I will now turn it over to Casey. Casey, is your smile there?
Hi.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple of things today about NFTs. So NFTs that we have going out right now are the boost ones. And so those are delivered every week on Wednesdays. And then once you get it, you have the option to activate or send it to someone. So to find your NFTs, you just go into your wallet and then you go up here to this NFTs tab. Yours will look a little bit different than this. These are just some test ones. When you click onto it, it will have the option down at the bottom to either activate or send it. Keep in mind that once you activate your NFT, our boosts right now are set for 6 months. You cannot pause or deactivate it. So if you are going to activate it, you want to make sure that you have your smart node online and that it's earning. Otherwise, you're going to be boosting 0 rewards. In order to activate it, you just have to enter your wallet passcode. If you do send it, another tip that you want to pay attention to is for the functionality for a Galvan smart node boost, it needs to go to a Galvan wallet. If you happen to have a Connect wallet or one of the other brands, if you send it to that wallet, it can hold it, but you won't be able to activate it there, and you might not be able to see it there. If you've run into that issue, just reach out to support. We can help you out. But keep in mind, if you're going to transfer it, you have to send it before you activate it. So in order to activate it, you just put in your wallet passcode, which is not the same as your account password. You click activate here. And then the rewards have been activated. We're not going to update that. So then that will continue to run. You'll get, depending on the NFT, you'll see different labels on it for how it's activated. This one just turns to grayscale. So you can see it there. Inside your wallet, under your NFTs, there are some different filter options. Again, I'm showing some that are just test ones, but this is how you can see it. In order to find all of these instructions, there's a few ways you can get to support. If you just go to our website, galvan.health, down here at the bottom, there's a support tab. That's going to take you to all of our FAQs. Here is an entire section just on NFTs. So you can see all the articles. When will you see your NFT boost? How do you know it's activated? Tons of information here. If you go through these and you still have questions or need help with anything, you just click this submit a request, and then you can reach out to our support team and we'll help you out. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to turn things back over to Byron.
Thanks so much, Casey. Awesome. And Robert, Dr. Sharp, thank you as well. This focus today with all the information that you're learning, you got the NFTs, how to utilize those. But I mean, heart's kind of a theme too today. And if you think about the heart minutes and you think about, how to track those and why they're important, another way that you can look at heart is where your passion is. and what you're doing. You know, I had a mentor of mine tell me a long time ago that the massive action solves all problems. I don't know what problem you're dealing with in life, but I know you're dealing with something. We're all dealing with something, right? And the thing that I love about what we're doing is the energy and effort we put into something does matter here. It does have an exponential growth, but massive action solves all problems. And it's what gives us that personal power. That's one of the things my mentor used to always tell me is how do we get our own personal power so that people want to follow you? People want to listen to what we're doing and that we're leading by example. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a minute and I want to talk about, since we're talking about heart and we're talking about those things today, what do we need to do to have our own personal power as we're getting into this? But before I get into that, I want to just go over one or two things with the collective. Now, the Well Collective has launched. For those people that went and purchased last week, just so you know, if you go look right now, you're going to see that shipping is now included. Now, last week, shipping wasn't included. So we're still shipping them out, and people are going to get that product for free, or the shipping for free. Let's say you don't have to, we're not going to go back and charge people for shipping. And for those that purchase with eyes, we wanted to give you a discount. The discount's still being put into effect. So if there's a 10% discount, that's not 100% working right now. But I know that you received more of a discount in not having to pay shipping than 10%. So anyway, we're working on all of those things, but I love that we've got these things happening. Also, I mentioned last week that we were putting together a flow on how to become a brand partner with the collective. If you got a brand of products and you want to get that, I wanted to put this in the chat here. So hopefully you can see this. I'm going to put the URL if it will pop up. That's the form. So everybody has that now, and we'll get this information out. But if somebody wants to submit the opportunity to see if you can have products or services on the collective, this is the starting point right here. And so we're going to create this flow. I've had some amazing calls the last week with people that have some great things that they're interested in having us promote and put on that collective, which is awesome for all of us Galvanators out there. But let's talk about this. You know, how do we have heart in what we're doing? How do we have our own personal power? Well, one of the first things that you have to do if you want to go out there and just have that belief in that, you got to be persistent. Persistence is something that if we want people to follow us, one of the things I learned a long time ago is that how many people have been presented with an opportunity or presented with something before, and then they followed up with that person maybe a week later or a month later or a couple of months later when they saw them in, let's say, the grocery store, and they said, "Oh, hey, how is that thing that you were talking about? How is that going?" And the person replies, "Oh, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore," or "Oh, I'm not really focused on that anymore." You know, then it's going to be almost validating to that person that didn't maybe buy a node, didn't look into eyes, didn't look into the Well Collective, didn't look into Galvan, because they want to follow somebody who knows where they're going. Okay. And so for us to be persistent is key. And most of the people that have always told me, no is not the time, now is not the time, or maybe the timing was off, most of them have eventually joined me and teamed up with me over the years in the things that I've been doing because I consistently do it. And we have to be persistent. There's no way that we're going to create any kind of momentum if we start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And it's not Galvan, it's anything that we do. Is we have to be consistent. If we want our health to change, it's through consistent effort. If we want our physique to change, if we want our mindset to change, we've got to be persistent in the things that we're feeding it, in the things that we're doing. So that persistence is such a key critical thing, because it's through consistently that we're going to create momentum, that we're going to sustain momentum, or that we're going to advance our momentum through that persistence and consistency. So that's one of the P's. I'm going to talk about 5 P's of personal power. The first one is just that, persistent. The second thing that we've got to do is you have to be positive. Okay, positivity, there's an energy that we have that is contagious. And when we're looking at opportunities, and even obstacles as opportunities. When we have that positive attitude and we're focused on why it's going to work, why it's going to bless people's lives, why me putting in the effort and energy is going to matter, why I want to be surrounded by those positive people. And guys, I have a lot of great friends, but I also am cautious on where I put my time and energy and who I associate with on a daily basis. Are they building me up? Are they people that believe in what I'm doing? And I've had people come before, even community members that, we're going to have community members that are here and they're just kind of passive, and that's totally fine. That's what I love about what we're doing with the smart nodes, where people can do their things on a daily basis, whether they're building community or not. But what I do know is when there's positivity, it's a magnifier and a multiplier. And the same thing with negativity. And so we got to get rid of our stinking thinking. And the most negative person usually that we have to deal with is us. Where our biggest obstacle that we typically put in front of us is ourselves. And so what are those positive things that we can put, those positive affirmations, those things that we can tell ourselves on a daily basis that are going to help fuel that passion that is going to get us to where we want to go? Because what kind of fuel are we giving it? I can have the nicest car in my garage, but it's not going to go anywhere without fuel. I can have the best engine, the fastest car. It doesn't matter if there's no fuel. And one of the things that's going to help fuel is starting with that positivity, being persistent, being positive. And the other thing, the third P that I want to talk about today is, are we planted? Like, do we have a foundation in what we're doing? Are we committed? Because how do we expect other people to be committed if we're not? How do we, it's easy for me to be patient at home when I've gotten enough sleep and when I've eaten and I feel good and I'm having a good stress-free day. But you want to know when my character truly comes out? Is when I haven't slept and maybe I haven't eaten and I'm hungry and I've had a stressful day. Am I planted in my foundation? Hey, I want to be a good dad and a good parent because of all these other reasons that aren't the surrounding factors that I'm letting control my life. See, nobody is coming to save us. Okay. I think as I've traveled around the world, it's communities like this that change things. If we're waiting for some outside government or entity or this or that to come and fix it and save us, guys, then we're just going to keep waiting. If I'm planted in what I'm doing because I know there's a foundation here that I can build upon, then I'm going to have personal power in what I'm doing. And you can talk to somebody and you can feel what their belief is. You can feel that energy. You can feel if they're just in it for them, or if they're trying to sell you for their benefit, or if they're trying to bless you with what they have to offer. You can feel that. We've all felt that. And a lot of that comes from, are we planted and committed in what we're doing? The most important person that needs to be sold on what we're doing is us. And if we're committed to it, then it doesn't matter what outside factor happens. It doesn't matter if we're waiting for somebody else to come and save us. We're going to, as a community, to go and make the change ourselves because we're planted in our purpose and what we're doing. Right? So personal power has to be, we're standing for something. And you know what? There's going to be people that don't understand crypto. There's going to be people that think that EYES is a meme coin. It's not. There are people that are going to misunderstand because they don't get it. But when we're planted in our purpose and we're planted in what's going on, they can feel that personal power. And it's not arrogance. There's a difference. It's that we are committed and we know exactly where we're going and what we're doing. And this fourth P, to have personal power, is a difficult one, especially for me sometimes. And that is, we got to be patient. We got to have patience with ourselves, with the situation. Not everything happens the way we want it to. Not everything happens as fast as we want it to. But here's what I do know. If we are committed to those things, if if we are persistent, if we are positive, if we are planted in what we're doing, then it's going to happen. And we just need to be patient and do those things that we do. And what we want the outcome to be will most likely be better than we thought. I think when we look back 12 months from today, for those people that are focused and we're going out there and we're doing this, as we have a chance, literally, and I know we say this a lot, but we have a chance to change the world with what we're doing. It's not some small thing that we're doing. What we're doing can affect every single person on this planet. We have that ability. So we need to understand that that purpose is bigger than just one of us and be patient in the process because it's going to happen. And that's where this last P comes into effect. We've got to have perspective. Every time I feel like, I'm burnt out, or anytime you feel like you put it in and you just don't know if you can keep doing it and you just don't have the focus, that's what it is. It's not that the goal isn't important. It's not that there's not value there still. It's that we've lost focus and perspective. And anytime we feel like we're burnt out, remember that you're not burnt out. You've just forgotten the purpose on why you're doing this. You're not just drained. You've forgotten, and your perspective is off. And that's why when I used to get started a long time ago, when I would work with people, I would go through what was called a commitment letter. And we would figure out what's the commitment level of somebody. What are you trying to accomplish? Why? Because I want them to be your goals, not mine. And so I don't want to push somebody to do something or encourage somebody to do something if that's not their goal. Now, if they told me that they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, they want to be healthier, they have 2 or 3 jobs and they're still, not having enough money. They don't have time with family that they want. Whatever the reason is, when they have that purpose and that perspective on why they're doing what they're doing or why they're doing what they're doing, why they're doing it in the first place, and they can keep that in front of them, I always ask them, because we're going to get distracted. If I see you getting off course, what would you like me to do about it? I want permission so that they can say, you know what? If you see me getting distracted, here's what I want you to do. I want you to call me out on it, Byron. If I'm not getting on the weekly call, and yet I say I want my life to be changed, because so many times we have here's what we have our kind of our ideal of what we should be and what we should do. And then we have the effort. Our effort and energy needs to match our outcome that we're after. And that perspective is what keeps that right in front of us. And so if we want personal power, these 5 P's hopefully can help you, because these 5 P's, as we put these in place, it equals personal power. And once again, what are they? Okay, you got to be persistent. You got to be positive. I don't know anybody that's just flat out negative all the time. That's really, that we've just built, you're not going to see a statue of anybody that was just totally negative constantly. They don't erect statues for people like that. Okay. We do for people that were persistent. They were positive in what they were trying to accomplish. They were planted in their beliefs. They were patient through the process, and they had a perspective that was bigger than them. And so success leaves clues. And if we look at successful people, what do successful people do? And that's why it's all about not our emotions. It's about our disciplines. Because if our emotions could get us to where we wanted to go, I'd be there. If my emotions could get me, and I think the reason that a lot of times it looks like it's in a dumpster fire is because it's people doing things based on emotion and not on personal power. Okay? They're doing things based on emotion, not on discipline. Discipline is doing something whether we feel like it or not. Discipline is after that hype, we get excited and fired up because of a call or because of something that we heard or we just learned. What happens when that fire dies 24 hours later? What happens when somebody, talks negative about what we're trying to share with them? Okay, that's when it really comes into effect, is when we do those things. That's when the disciplines are needed, because I'm going to do them whether I feel like it or not. That's what changes things. That's what's going to change your life. And I want every single one of you to have a little bit more personal power, because as your power increases through your actions, you're going to have more and more people follow you. You're going to have more and more people to lead. And that's what the world needs more of. We need leaders. So whether it's all of these things that we're doing at Galvin, whether it's the Well Collective that we're launching and we're changing the world, the most important asset that this community is going to have is you. You're the most important asset. It's not what we're selling in the collective. It's not what's on the backbone. And blockchain is amazing. And our EYES token is unbelievable with all the options that we have. The most valuable thing that we're going to have are the individuals here in the community making a difference, sharing their personal power with the world. So that's my challenge to every one of you is let's go do that. Let's be a little bit more persistent this week. Let's be a little bit more positive. Let's be a little bit more planted in and convicted in what we're doing. Let's be a little bit more patient with ourselves and others. And then let's make sure that our perspective is where it needs to be. And as we do that, as nothing's going to stop us. We're going to have personal power and our collective personal power together on a common goal and a common cause is what is going to change the world, because that's what it's always ever been. Anything that's ever changed the world, it's always that. So I'm excited. I'm more excited today than I've ever been where we're at, because we're on the precipice of something that I don't even think I understand how big it's going to be. And I have big goals and I have big dreams. And together we're going to go out there and we're going to make a difference. Together we are going to, as I always say, change the world one person at a time, starting with ourselves. So Galvanators, let's unite. Let's go out, have an awesome week. Let's take advantage of the things that we have right in front of us, and let's go make a difference. So thank you for tuning in. I want to thank everybody that participated in today's call. And, as we look at what's going on this week and look at everything else, let's go be that difference for people in the world. I'm Byron Belka, and I'm a Galvanator. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
With every breath, I promise to rise.